Ring it up for Ohio State.
You've waited all day for this.
Don't let that team stand in the way. He's going to take it to the house. 85 yards. Down the right side going Devin Smith. Got it at the 5 and into the end zone. Touchdown.
The one show that's nothing but the Buckeyes.
Oh, Graham Rucker for the touchdown. Graham shoots it high on the right for 3.
This is the Buckeye Show.
And we got you for the next 2 hours here on the Buckeye Show. I am Matt Fontana. He's former Ohio State wide receiver Devier Posey. So happy to have you alongside right here on the Fan. Plenty to get to as we roll on through with the Buckeyes tonight. We got predictions, which I'm excited to do, coming up about some quarterbacks, some tight ends. I'm really excited to do this, Devier, coming up as well. We will have the position rankings for the Buckeyes from The Athletic as we run through each of the position groups. I think we all know who number one is because, frankly, it might be number one in the entire country. But beyond that, I think it's a really interesting discussion. We'll get to that. Of course, you got the College Football Pulse. Nate's got that coming up as well. And we'll be leading you into basketball tonight with the NBA Finals. Devier, how's things? I'm excited for the basketball game tonight, man. I can't get a vibe. Like, I think the Thunder are going to smoke them tonight, but it's back in Indiana. Being on the road can be weird, can be different things out there.
Yeah, absolutely, man. By the way, what's up, Columbus? My Buckeyes on this Wednesday, Matt. It's been a while since we got to catch up and do a show. Super excited for today. It's always a gift when I wake up on Wednesday and say, hey, bottom line, no matter what today, like if you want to talk football, you got to wait till 6 p.m. So I'm excited about that. And you are right. This finals feels eerie. You know why? It's just because I think as basketball fans, we're so used to like a single player dominating or being able to predict, based off of the season, who's going to win. But we got a classic, finals where once Tatum went down, you felt as though this was a year that resembles when Kevin Durant popped his Achilles and Toronto pulled out a random championship within people's greatness tenure. So it's like you look at, like for me, Matt, you see times like when the Rockets won 2 years and then you're like, oh, well, Jordan retired during that time. And then you see, Kawhi snuck a championship in. That was the year Kevin Durant with the Warriors popped his Achilles. And then you see Tatum gets popped, and now we might have a champion that we might not have predicted from the beginning of the year. So I like that about these type of championships. It's a weird year for sure.
I think it's the stat that always gets me is that they will have 7 different champions in 7 years. Going from when we had LeBron in 8 straight finals, when you had the Cavs and the Warriors in 4 straight finals, like to go from that, which I guess the NBA kind of wanted with how they shifted some things and pushed some things, but it is crazy. I'm super excited for that game tonight. So, again, we'll take you right up to pregame. Game's at 8:30 tonight. You'll hear it right here on the Fan, and we'll join pregame. But we got nothing but Buckeyes over the next couple hours. So we start with an article from The Athletic. And shout out to Cameron Teague Robinson who put this together because, Devier, I thought this one was really interesting where he ranked all the positions for Ohio State entering the summertime as we're done with the spring ball stuff and they're into their recruiting camps and things like that. But it's crazy, man. Like we're gonna be in August camp before you know it, and we're gonna be playing our first game sooner rather than later. So as we get ready to go for that, this is such a great piece to just kind of reset some things for a lot of people. And I loved how it was laid out. It's just how he ranks it, the notable departures, key returnees, and some new arrivals to get everybody rolling. So we start here with the number one position, which I don't think this is a debate for Ohio State, and there's a world that, frankly, this is the best room in the entire country, and that is the wide receivers. We miss Emeka Egbuka. I saw his pictures from Tampa Bay Media Day down there at the Buccaneers. He's looking sharp in the single digit down there. Key returnees, some guy named Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate, Brandon Inniss, Bryson Rogers, Mylan Graham, and they're bringing in really, again, with just what Ohio State has turned into, a 5-star recruit and 3 different 4-star recruits being the arrivals. But, Devier, you know better than anybody, it can be hard sometimes to get those reps as a freshman, and let alone when you have Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate, and Brandon Inniss in front of you. But he's got it number one here, as it should be. And I'll ask you, Devier, is this the number one wide receiver room in the entire country?
Absolutely. Anytime you got a guy like Jeremiah Smith and what he's done and where he'll put your group, That's an outlier. They're heavy weighted in terms of the data, in terms of numbers. So where the questions go and where the questions lie are, to me, are we going to consider Max Clare in this wide receiver group? Because if so, absolutely is by far the best wide receiver group without including Max Clare. So if you add him as a pass catcher, which I believe he has an opportunity to be like the second or third leading receiver this season, yeah, this group has a wide range of personnel groups. We had groups to where when we had Marvin Harrison Jr. and Emeka, we could do certain things. Same with Chris Olave, same with Garrett Wilson. But with this group, in terms of size and speed, with Jeremiah being the size he is, and then you add a Max Clare, the double tight end look, the single wide receiver, the two back looks, getting into situations where we need to protect the quarterbacks with an extra blocker. This wide receiver core can do that. And then also we can spread it out and go forward and put Ennis in slot and let Mylan grab him, take the top off, obviously let Carnell Tate find one-on-ones. And Jeremiah Smith can do what he did in the Texas game, or Jeremiah Smith can do what he did in the Tennessee game. It's just really what you need from him. So I think this group by far is the best group in the country, and just what they possess just top to bottom. Man, it's just volumes of talent.
It is. And at number 2, I think this is an interesting one that I also agree with. Again, we're running through the best position groups for the Buckeyes. Number 1, Ohio State. Number 2, you alluded to it, it's the tight ends.
Yep. They
bring in Max Clare from Purdue, number 1 tight end transfer in the portal. Kaczmarek has been here for the year after transferring in from Ohio. And Devier, I don't know why I stumbled down a rabbit hole of Will Kaczmarek when he was at Ohio. And I was like, man, I think we kind of realized this guy, he's 6'6", he can run, he can get open. Bennett Christian, Jelani Thurman's still there. They bring in a couple of 4-stars, Nate Roberts and Brody Lennon. But, Keenan Bailey was talking about this, I think the other day, or might even been last week, and he really feels like the tight end group is one of the best in the country. So, we're talking about that wide receiver room, which we agree is number 1 and should be. But, now that I really look at this tight end room, I think they have a chance to carve themselves out as maybe even a top 5 unit in the entire country, led by Clare and Kaczmarek.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what you want to see, especially from a young coach like, Keenan Bailey, who's been a part of developing talent. He was in that receiving room. When you go back to the grassroots of Hartline's career, that guy was helping him, right? He understood what it means to build a recruiting across the country with 4 or 5 stars, right? And making that rapport and building that history. So what he's doing in the tight end room is a reflection, because he is a Heartline disciple, obviously a day disciple as well. But I'm talking about with his recruiting ways. So to see him have success with Max Clare in the portal, and to see him bring guys up and develop talent like Jelani Thurman, just for a young tight end coach, his trajectory as a potential, offensive coordinator, potential head coach one day, like I know, Matt, you got to show that you can recruit. So and now you have to recruit the portal. So I'm super excited for Keenan Bailey's group and what they're going to do. And when we do our pregame show, the coaches walk to the stadium from the Woody. That guy always says what's up to us. So I'm rooting for him, man. Yeah, I'm rooting for him for sure.
Absolutely. Number 3 on the list of the best positions for Ohio State. DBs, obviously Burke, Jordan Hancock, Lathan Ransom, all moving on to the pros. But Davison Igbinosun comes back. You have Caleb Dowds, who's arguably the best defender, let alone best secondary player in football. Matthews has played a little bit, McLean, Hartford, but I'm the 5-star Devin Sanchez, man. And I know that's just such a hard spot to put a young player into. And I'm not saying start him from day one, but Devier, I'd be shocked if not at the end of the year that he was getting some serious minutes in that secondary.
Oh, man, I love to hear that. It's just – I think for me, in terms of who I'm excited about, I get excited for the 5-star recruits, but Lorenzo Styles put in some good minutes late into the season in terms of nickel when we were able to do some things with Caleb. So I guess you go to say, can Malik Hartford give Caleb the insurance that Jordan Hancock gave him and Ransom gave him, so that he can be all that he can be, right? And so that's what sort of needs to happen there. This 3 safety look, Lorenzo Styles, maturity, Jermaine Matthews and Igbinosun being able to show, hey, bottom line, a lot of the questions Denzel Burke got, at the end of the year, our pro day questions were like, hey, what was the rotation thing about? I mean, Matt, you got to just ask yourself just a raw question. If Denzel Burke was rotating with Jermaine Matthews, like, what did that mean? And Denzel Burke getting drafted in the 4th or 5th round says, hey, to me, maybe potentially Jermaine Matthews could be a 1st or 2nd round pick that worked his way into a national championship rotation. That guy's going to be a lockdown 1st round corner possibly one day, because he kind of moved a 2-year starter out of the rotation, right? He worked his way into the rotation. So I'm super excited for him there. Lorenzo made a lot of big plays here in the slot, and he'll be able to mature and just have a mature guy there. Obviously, can Hartford give Caleb Downs the insurance so that he can be all that he can be? And then just Igbinosa in terms of like explosive energy. Energy player. Like, I see him stepping into the role that Lathan Ransom played more than likely in terms of emotional leader in this secondary. So I'm super excited for this group, man. I want to see Sanchez, but with freshmen, man, you got to show me. You can't tell me.
Yeah, right. You don't have a spot yet. You got to earn that spot.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of guys in front of you, but yeah, I'm super excited of all the recruits. I know they get a lot of them there, but that was one that I had circled. I was really excited to see him become a Buckeye. All right, let's do this. Let's break. When we come back, we're going to continue on this list. You mentioned one Styles brother. You know the other one's coming, running through the Athletic. They ran through all the positions at Ohio State, first to last. Number 1, wide receivers. Number 2, tight ends. We leave off at number 3, DBs. Run through 4 through 8, and we'll do it next. This is the Buckeye Show here on The Fan.
Unlike your deadbeat uncle, we'll never leave you stranded in a ditch when you were 6. This promo may have been a touch too specific. The Fan.
This is the sound of a popular American motorcycle. It's the sound of freedom, the open road, really good times. And this is what it sounds like with a drunk guy on it. How do you like the sound of that? Cops are cracking down on drunk motorcycle riders. If you ride drunk, you will get caught and you will get arrested. Drunk riding, over the limit, under arrest. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Transportation.
Summer is in full swing. If you think you're hot, well, so are your trees. You can help your trees by watering them, especially if they're newly planted. During the hot, dry summer months, your trees could use a water boost. Watering new trees a few times a week will help them survive while they're developing their root system, so don't forget about them. To find out more about watering trees, or to find a certified arborist near you, go to treesforohio.org. That's trees, the number 4, ohio.org.
Hey, Ohio State fan, are you ready for game day? Get hyped and get your crew going with the Buckeye Meal at BK. For $20, you'll get 1 juicy flame grill Whopper sandwich, 1 original chicken sandwich, 2 mouthwatering cheeseburgers, 3 crispy golden small fries, and 3 refreshing small drinks. Grab your $20 Buckeye Meal today and share the taste of victory. At BK, have it your way. You rule. Limited time only at participating Ohio area restaurants. Tax extra. BK is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Attention Columbus. Town Properties just clinched the title of the largest residential property manager in Columbus, thanks to the Columbus Business Journal. With pride, we oversee 25,000 plus households in the Columbus metro area, ensuring fantastic places to call home. Whether you're on the hunt for an exceptional living space, a top-notch association management company, or a property manager for your multifamily portfolio, visit our website at town.properties.com and let us elevate your living experience. Town Properties, always managing great places to live.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium, presented by Experience Columbus. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium tours offer a variety of options and pricing. For more information, visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com and book your tour. Ohio Stadium Tours, presented by Experience Columbus.
Health insurance companies are expected to carry health benefits, but CareSource does so much more. We look beyond doctors' offices and hospitals to see the challenges that face our members. Then we help them achieve not just better health, but better lives. Along with great benefits, we also help our members find stable jobs, housing, childcare, and rides so they can find greater independence. At CareSource, we're removing barriers. We're improving lives. We're reimagining healthcare.
Rothman and Ice.
When you're paying a guy this amount of money, you either feel like you're right there and he's going to put you over the top, or you've got the runway to get it done.
Rothman and Ice. Weekdays at noon.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus.
The Fan.
When you need mealtime inspiration, it's worth shopping Kroger for mouth-watering meals and appetizing ingredients. And no matter what tasty choice you make, our low prices add up to big savings. Plus, you get over $600 in digital coupons each week and up to $1 off per gallon at the pump and points. At Kroger, you always get big flavors and big savings. Kroger, fresh for everyone. Fuel restrictions apply.
It's Kubota Orange Days. From America's #1 selling compact tractor to zero-turn mowers and versatile RTVs, get your perfect match delivered to your door. Now through June 30th, get 0 down, 0% APR for 84 months or up to $3,500 off BX23S tractors. See the details at KubotaOrangeDays.com.
Visit BuckeyeKubotaDealers.com to find a dealer near you.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Blue skies, light winds, and a real nice finish on this Wednesday. Temperatures in the low 80s. Overnight will fall back down to the low 60s with fair skies and light winds. And after a very nice start to your Thursday, warming right back up. A little warmer in the afternoon, mid to upper 80s later on Thursday, and dry. With your 10 weather impact forecast, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jerry Martz on The Fan.
We here at The Fan believe there's no such thing as too much Ohio State coverage. You're locked into the Buckeye Show.
Got Matt Fontana and Devier Posey with you tonight, taking you up to 8 o'clock on The Fan before we turn things over to a little bit of NBA Finals action. And I'm really enjoying this article. I know Devier is as well, from The Athletic, ranking all the positions at Ohio State as we get into the summer and get ready to go for the 2025 campaign. So this was done 1 through 8 from Cameron Teague Robinson. Started number 1, wide receivers, no question about that. Number 2, tight ends. I think we both kind of see that and agree with it. Number 3, defensive backs. We get to number 4, it'll stay on the defensive side, and it's linebackers. So unfortunately, they lose the block O and Cody Simon. He moves on. But a lot of returns. Sonny Styles, I know Arvell Reese, everybody at Devier's talking about his picture. He looks like he put on some good weight. It looks like he's been in the weight room. Peyton Pierce, and then I think the 2 4-stars, Riley Pettyjohn and TJ Alford, who are coming in, again, potential opportunity to have some reps out there as freshmen. But I'm really excited about those 2 guys' growth here. Ohio State overall losing 8 starters on defense is tough, but this is one of the ones a lot is going to fall on the shoulders of Sonny Styles, and I'm expecting a monster year from him this year coming up.
Yeah, I think the thing with Sonny Styles, we saw him play safety and then last year make a transition to linebacker. So for someone who I think, at that time in his career, just being the youngest player possibly in the Big Ten, we have to confirm on that, Nate, but he hasn't had a year where he's coming into camp watching film of himself and improving on that same thing the next season. So this year, coming off a national championship, film study that he can do for all of these games, he has an opportunity to improve at being a linebacker for the first time in his career. And so from a year-to-year jump, we're going to see a difference just because by nature of we haven't got to see a year jump. So he will play better in this position next year, and he will be more of a leader because he has won a championship. He has been in these situations like the Texas goal line stand, the Penn State goal line stand. He will be the guy that'll help these guys in the secondary along with Caleb Williams and say, hey, I'm sorry, Caleb Downs. I don't know why I'm looking at a picture of this Chicago Bears wide receiver core. That's why I said Caleb Williams. But he can help lead this group in terms of having a monster year. And what a monster year really looks like is not necessarily statistics, but being comfortable going into training camp and saying, hey, monster year for us just looks like we finally get to see Sonny Styles play full speed, and it's instinctive and know things before they happen because he has the experience. It's probably going to get pretty scary, Matt, if this guy kind of knows what's coming.
Right. I mean, he's got everything for it.
Yeah.
And it's just, again, with so many starters being gone, one of the few returning guys to be able to be in there and do it. It's going to be a lot of fun. So the offensive line at number 5. Now, this one is an interesting one for me, Devier, because it's easy to sit there and say, wow, hit hard, right? Seth McLaughlin gone, Fryer, Donovan Jackson. I know Josh Simmons got hurt, but, was there prior. And you say, oh, no. But then you really sit there and you say, okay, Carson Hinzman's back. You're returning pretty much both your guards in that. It's just the two questions that you're going to have with your transfers who are going to be your starting tackles, Minnesota transfer Phillip Daniels is coming in. And then over from Rice is Ethan Oinawa. And, again, D1 transfers, obviously kind of, I would say, transferring up here to come to Ohio State. They believe him. A couple of 4-stars guys. So it's like that's one that I think is interesting at 5 because my instant, knee-jerk was that position could be in some trouble or we're not as shored up as we really should be. But then when I take a step back and really look at it, obviously Montgomery played a lot, looked good at left guard. Shabola at right guard looked just fine. And if you can anchor that middle of it and then bring in two guys that have played a lot already in college football at the tackle positions, a little better off than really, I think, on the surface level than I thought.
Yeah, I mean, like with anything, the heart of the football team really rests on the center and the two guards, right? And for multiple reasons of pass protection, obviously a push in the running game. You're talking about being able to control time of possessions. That position on the field is the most important. And luckily for Ohio State, we have guys like you just mentioned who have a lot of time and have national championship experience. And I hate to keep bringing that up, but when these guys lay down at night, man, they have confidence that they will have a better year because of what they've done in the past. And Ohio State having an offensive lineman competition for the last 3 years, and you got to give Coach Fry his credit here. Every week over there and probably every day during training camp, you would see a different group of offensive linemen, and you would see offensive linemen in different positions. So what that does for guys like Carson Hinzman, Luke Montgomery, and Tiger Shabola, this allows them to know what they have to do and then also what the guys next to them have to do. So having that chemistry on the interior offensive lineman where Carson has been a guard. Luke has played center. They know every play. They know what the guys next to them are doing. So if I take a step with my left foot, I know that your right foot should be leaving. Mm-hmm. So I think with our offensive line, the confidence that Coach Fry did with all those different rotations and those training camp competitions, those being under those guys' belt going into this year, same reason with Sonny, returning starters, to be able to perfect that left foot leaving and that right step replacing it until there's no holes in the offensive line. This offensive lineman has a good head start in terms of other offensive linemen around the country.
We go to number 6 on the ranking of Ohio State position groups, and he did split up D-ends and D-tackles, so we'll talk D-ends here for a quick second. JTT Sawyer off to the pros. Kenyatta Jackson, Caden Curry, C.J. Hicks returning, and certainly Jackson and Curry who played. They get Logan George to transfer in from Idaho State. And North Carolina transfer Bo Atkinson, which I think is a very interesting one for me. A couple of 4-star recruits coming in. But Atkinson is one that, I think Jackson and Curry will get the first crack at it, so to speak. But we know how much they would like to rotate that type of position. And I'm really going to circle Bo Atkinson as somebody that I think could have a jump this season for the Buckeyes at that end position.
Absolutely. I mean, in terms of the freaks on this team, I kind of got to give it to the edge rushers in terms of guys that scare me. Guys like C.J. Hicks who are 6'3", that could probably bench the house and can run with wide receivers. He's scary. Kenyatta's scary. Bo Atkins scary. Obviously, Caden Curry, we know what he can do when he gets rolling. This group has a potential out of all of the position groups to surprise us the most. Now, here's the reason why. As productive and as great as JTT and Jack Sawyer were, their sack stats really didn't soar in terms of Ohio State, all-time, stats. So if these guys can really get to the quarterback and really disrupt, we will feel as though this outside edge rush position has gotten better with the departure. And I'm not saying that in any way to slight those two guys because those are two great players. two drafted players that we are replacing. But just like you have to look at Denzel Burke and the Jermaine Matthews situation, you say, hey, and this is Ohio State, so this is not too crazy to say. Was somebody who won a national championship holding a spot and taking away time from a future first rounder? It sounds crazy, but at Ohio State, you can have that conversation.
It happens, obviously, more than we realize. Sometimes so much so that first round, maybe even first overall picks transfer out of the school. Kind of worked out for LSU, but, sometimes that happens when, it's just that stacked. Speaking of missing some guys, number 7, running backs, Q, Henderson, off to the pros. And Austin Ward and I were talking about it a lot this week, Devier, about James Peoples, who will get that, but they bring Donaldson in. He's down some weight. We know about Bo Jackson, 4-star recruit there, and really a position that down there at 7. I just want to wrap it up for everybody here. At 8 is quarterbacks, which, again, I think should be higher. I think Sayan's going to win that job. I mean, listen, I think any school would almost take him at this point. I know there's entrenched starters and things like that, but I'm really a believer in Julian Sayin, so I think he's going to get that. And number 9 is D tackle, where, again, you've lost a lot to the draft there. Cade McDonald is my guy to watch there. But really, of all those positions, Devier, that running back one, I think there's a chance to really surprise some people there. And especially if that pass game, which we know how good the receivers are. We talked about Claire, in the tight end room and what they can bring there. I think that's just going to really open up some things. And especially if that middle of the offensive line, like we were talking about, that we have a little more confidence in, I think that might actually help C.J. Donaldson a little bit more, kind of in between the tackles there. So we're replacing 2 really, really, like, borderline first round, obviously, running backs with Quinshawn Judkins and Travion Henderson. But I think that's a room by the end of the year that's going to be also turning some heads.
Yeah, absolutely. Just for these guys, just establishing themselves into the position of, hey, running back 1 or running back 2 is what I'm excited to see. I know Ohio State prefers the dual running back, the 2 running back approach, the lightning and thunder approach. I think that's what football will go towards. If you are interested from a, I would say a football personnel mindset of preservation for your running backs, you would take a thunder and lightning approach as if Ohio State is. I know Coach Laughlin has that mindset. He had that same mindset in Oregon when he had those guys, Bucky Irvin. So we are forming this model that we're fitting bodies into in terms of our running backs. And so when you're saying, hey, we're going to have guys come in like Peoples and C.J. Donaldson and then a Bo Jackson, we have the makes and body sizes of this lightning and thunder type approach. So I want to see these guys step into those roles this year. And more importantly, I think we got lightning figured out, right, with Peoples. I think that will be our Trevion type back. That will be our J.K. Dobbins type of body style that we will see, that we have seen in the past under Ryan Day, who likes to mimic the Darren Sproles, Alvin Kamara, Jahmyr Gibbs type of back. But the thunder side is the Quinshawn Judkins replacement is what I am. The Mayan Williams replacement type of back is what I'm looking forward to see in terms of who emerges in between the tackles. We've seen Donaldson and Bo Jackson, and one can't help but hope that Bo Jackson's name is lived up to, right? Like, you can only just hope that we're walking around here with Bo Jackson Ohio State jerseys. Like, because that kid and that name, it just smells greatness coming, right?
Yeah, no, and that's, again, got an opportunity there, and even just beyond this season for him just coming as a freshman. Any carries he can get, only going to help them moving forward. Well, we're going to move forward here on the Buckeye Show, because coming up, Ryan Day picked up a new recruit, and I'm excited for this. Some early Ohio State predictions for 2025. We'll discuss it next. Back in 2 minutes here on The Fan.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill, when your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End of friendship. Or choose chill, because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway, and you're planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
You know that project you've been working on? Just chipping away at it, dreaming of the day you get to show it off? Then, when you're least expecting it, cancer. And finishing that project actually happens. I would know. I've been restoring this car for years, and today I'm giving it to my granddaughter. It's her 16th birthday and 2 years since my cancer diagnosis.
Mom, you finished it?
Happy birthday, boo-boo. You keep making plans.
Visit ohiohealth.com/keepmakingplans to learn more.
Things are popping at Al's Delicious Popcorn. With over 80 flavors to choose from, we have something for everyone. From classics like caramel cashew, white cheddar, and our famous vanilla butternut to new flavors like chicken and waffles and spicy barbecue. They are all made fresh and they are all delicious. Visit us online at alspopcorn.com or come see us and experience the best service in town at 1500 Bethel Road in Columbus. Al's Delicious Popcorn.
The best outcomes for treating cancer come from early detection and early diagnosis.
The James Cancer Diagnostic Center at Ohio State
is designed to provide rapid evaluation and a clear diagnosis.
We are transforming care by giving patients direct access.
The cancer experts who study and treat cancer every day.
If you think you have cancer, the choice is clear.
Choose the James Cancer Diagnostic Center.
The Buckeye Show is sponsored by CareSource, proud to be your home for Ohio State Athletics. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
All Buckeyes, all the time. You are listening to The Buckeye Show.
Big recruit coming to Columbus and some predictions for the 2025 season. I can't wait to get to those with Devier Posey. A little offense, a little defense. We'll get to it. It is The Buckeye Show. Devier Posey, Matt Fontana with you tonight here on The Fan, taking you up till 8 o'clock. So we start with the newest, Buckeye one day, because they have a commitment now from Kari Wilder, edge rusher coming out of Florida, 4-star recruit. He said, Devier, that Columbus is the perfect fit for him. Notre Dame, UCLA, Washington were all involved with him as well, but Wilder saying, I'm shutting it down. He's coming to Ohio State, and he's going to be a Buckeye.
Absolutely. And the thing I love about this is in today's world, solid commitments aren't celebrated enough, right? I mean, it's just not. I mean, we'll repost and post a kid for decommitting, but we won't say, hey, these kids committed at this date and stayed committed. So I love that, and I love guys who take this mindset and are all about football. Jeremiah Smith was a guy like this, right? Like, everybody remembers the Ryan Day, fake feint, but what happened was, right, like, you got to start the story there. Like, well, what happened was he ended up signing it that day, but he had a commitment to Ohio State for a very long time leading up to that, and so he had a great freshman year. That model still works in NIL, right? It's staying focused, locking in, committing, and just getting ready for your freshman season. Hats off to Kari Wilder, man. Welcome to the Buckeyes. Go Bucks.
Yeah, he is top 250 nationally, about the 23rd to 26th edge player, and a top 25 guy coming out of California, 6'4", 260. There is some discussion that eventually, if he needed to, could move inside as well, just with that size already, as the class of 2026. So obviously he has his senior year of football coming up before he comes to Ohio State. So a big get there for the Buckeyes and Larry Johnson on the defensive side of it. All right, we got 5 predictions coming up. And this one came from The Athletic, and they went across for 5 early 2025 predictions for the Ohio State Buckeyes. So we're going to run through all 5, and Devier and I will both give our answer if we think this will come true or not. And number 1, I already tipped my hand on this one, but prediction number 1, Julian Sayin will win the quarterback battle. Devier, I let that slip earlier. I do think he is going to win the quarterback battle. I think, obviously, Lincoln is a really good player. I think they're going to be great for one another. I can't wait for a couple of years for Tavion Sinclair to get in there as well. Not rushing either one of those guys out, but I do think Sayin is going to get this job. What about you?
Yeah, I think this is going to start off as Julian Sayin's job, but this is one of the years to where we will see a dual quarterback approach. We will see Lincoln at some point this year. I do believe he will start a game. Over under him starting a game this year, I'll go with the over for sure. Just because this isn't a roster to where this is a one quarterback all year roster. This isn't a Kyle McCord, Will Howard roster. Those rosters were blessed with, hey, just you talking about bells and whistles, man. those two rosters had Marvin Harrison and Jeremiah Smith consecutively in terms of tools that you got to use for a quarterback. So that job won't be the same. It won't have the same job description that it had last year, man. It's just the quarterback job won't be the same. Yeah. Now, what will have to happen is someone has to be established as a leader. Someone has to establish the rhythm. Someone has to be able to take care of their body as a full-time starter in the Big Ten for the first time. Somebody also has to get to a point where we're not turning the ball over. We're not pressing, trying to make big plays. So we have to see all of this from these two guys. And I just think it'll be a dual quarterback approach, but that doesn't mean we can't win a lot of football games. And it doesn't mean we won't, win them in a great fashion. It's just it has to happen for us. And these guys have to go through these bumps and these lumps, and we're going to be able to be in the stands and watch it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that has to do with just such a good skill position group where you're thrown to some really good wide receivers. We'll get to a prediction on a tight end coming up in a little bit. Yep. You've got an offensive line that we should feel good about, and again, the same thing with the run game as we talked about. If the other areas can open it up, it just takes pressure off Sayin and Lincoln Kienholz, and it's going to make it that much easier for them to do their job. Where you're right that to start out and even maybe through the season, we start with Texas, so it's hard to stay right out of the gates, but still, you'd like those guys to kind of ease in and understand, like, this is what we need you to do in this offense. We don't maybe need that hero ball out of you, but we know at the end of the season, when push comes to shove, it is going to be coming down to your quarterbacks to get you up down the field. So there's some predictions from The Athletic. Next up, Max Clare will break 2 Ohio State tight end records this season, basically fact or fiction. Now, here are the two that they bring up as the potential ones for him. Single-season touchdowns and single-season receiving yards for tight ends. So we start here. The trivia is single-season receiving yardage. Billy Anders, 1966, had 671 yards for a Ohio State record for a single season for a tight end. Now, here's the interesting thing. He did that in just 9 games. There's a chance that Max Clare, with a Big Ten title game potentially and playoff games, could play up to 14 or up to 16 games in a season. And if to do that, he would need just about 50 yards a game to do that and get it done and pass 761. So the next trivia is single season tight end receiving touchdowns. It is shared by 2 players. It is 7 in a single season. One is Ricky Dudley in 1995. I ask you, Devier Posey, with a little ulterior motive of why I'm asking you, do you know who the other one is to tie a single-season tight end record with 7 touchdowns?
Is it Jake Stoneburner?
It is Jake Stoneburner. There you go, 2011. Yeah. So I figured Devier would be all over that one. So, and for last year, for Clare, he only had 4 touchdowns, but he had 685 yards, so he would have surpassed the yardage one. Do you like either one of those or both of those to go down for Max Clare? 671 and 7 touchdowns.
I like it. I'll take the over on that.
Nice.
I mean, I'm able to see what he does and what gives me the confidence about that. Not only you say, hey, Devier, what? Ohio State's tight end, if we only done it one time in history, how can it happen this year? Well, what gives me the confidence – it's not the offense, but his ability with the yards after catch. If you want to, have something nice to do this evening, go to Twitter, search in Max Clare, and enjoy the yak that you get to see, the yards after catch. I mean, this dude gets the ball and he turns into a running back, and he has ability, and he's very athletic. You might even see him hurdle a guy. So him being in our offense and getting the ball out quick, and Ryan Day and Hartline being so creative with different personnel groups, I'm excited to see. I mean, I'm not saying he's a Brock Bowers type of guy, but he can run with the ball in his hands.
I'm really excited about that room in general, too, and I think just the openness over the middle that's going to be available, for them with some of the field stretchers that they have, the receiver group, and just obviously we're going to have a change in this offense a little bit. But with Hartline, who's been here, and I just think maybe getting back to more Ryan Day. I think Chip Kelly was great, and it was awesome, for the year that was here. But I think big things over that middle for that tight end group. All right, going to rip through a couple more here. Fact or fiction on predictions. Sonny Styles will be a Butkus finalist award. Finalist for that award, I should say, for the Buckeyes Award. I'm not bringing this one up to Veer. Ohio State loses to Michigan but wins the Big Ten championship. That's not happening. They're going to beat Michigan this year, and they're going to win the national championship, but certainly the Big Ten. And then Carnell Tate continues as a first-round wide receiver to keep that streak going for the Buckeyes with Garrett Wilson-Olave in 22, Jackson Smith-Njigba in 23, Marvin Harrison in 24, and Emeka Ibuka last year. We're throwing the Michigan one out because that's not going to happen. Do you think Sonny Styles is a Buckeyes Award finalist, DeVere? And do you think Carnell Tate find him way in the first round next spring?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we might have two guys be up for it. Like, this is a linebacker room with Arvell Reese and Sonny Styles, but the talent level is, like, so high. It's like it's Bobby, A.J. high. It's Marcus Freeman, Jared Leonidas high. It's Raekwon and and Joshua Perry type of high.
Perry,
yeah. It's very high in terms of talent and potential for these two guys. So I think we the thing about Arvell Reese and the thing about Sonny will give us the splash plays, the big hits, and I just think you'll notice him more. He just if you're picking a dodgeball lineup, he's the guy you're taking first, bottom line. And so, but Sonny will have a very hard time trying to out tackle Arvell Reese. Yeah. I'm just going to say it now. He's very greedy when it comes to tackles. He's in on everything, and he has to get to the ball first. So he will challenge him for that Buckeyes. And so I'm excited for that. But then on top of the second question you said,
Carnell Tate getting into the first round. And I looked this up quick from like PFF, which were so early. Jordan Tyson, they have the number one key. He's out of Arizona State. Singleton out of Georgia Tech. Denzel Boston. Kevin Concepcion, I'm sorry for his last name.
Oh, Concepcion,
yeah. And then Elijah Sarrett out of Indiana. So they have Carnell Tate right behind them as a 41st overall prospect. Again, this is just one site going into the draft next year, and then about the sixth wide receiver on this list. So I think it's hard because if we all expect that many quarterbacks to go in the first round next year, which at this point we all know how much can change over the next 6 months, but if there's that many there's that many quarterbacks that go in the first round, I think that sometimes can limit the receiver room. I just think it's going to be hard because I think Carnell Tate has the ideal size. I think he brings a lot of what an NFL wide receiver looks like. I think, you know what? I'm going to say yes. I think he's going to get up to the third best wide receiver, and I think 3 will go in the first round. I'm going to say he gets into the first round.
Yeah, I think Carnell Tate is a first-round pick, and the best part about him, you look at his tenure, he's smashing between Marvin Harrison and Jeremiah Smith, but very productive for a guy who hasn't had as many opportunities. You think about that Northwestern layout play. You think about the passes that he's had in times where you're like, hey, Carnell Tate popped out here. We haven't got to see him in a full serving yet. We haven't got to see him in a full portion throughout the year just because, he's been in a big shadow, like huge shadow. So when you get to really throw him out there and you see his size, you watch his routes, you see that his ability to catch balls, he doesn't drop many because he doesn't get many opportunities. In a full film version, he wins and he gets open. It's almost like Emeka Ibuka is just like, this is like, what you're getting from a guy like this, like coming from Ohio State and Brian Hartline. It's almost like when we were just grabbing edge rushers from Alabama, like all the way back from like to Hightower to Will Anderson, right? Like it's just, what you're getting in an edge rusher when you get an Alabama guy. You kind of just know what you're getting with an Ohio State receiver in the first or second round. So I say Carnell sneaks.
I love it very much. All right, some changes coming for the Big Ten this year. What will have the biggest impact? And the Schott getting a whole new look. It's all coming your way next year on the Buckeye Show.
Winners of the prestigious Platinum Microphone Award every year, given to the best radio station in the world. No need to look it up. It's real. The Fan.
Get your air conditioner fixed fast. Call Care Heating and Cooling. 1-800-COOLING.
A healthy body needs good food. This summer, the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce is sponsoring Sun Meals, a summer food program where kids eat free. Children under 18 receive healthy meals and no sign-up is required. Locations may be right in your neighborhood. Call 1-866-348-6479 or visit education.ohio.gov/kidseat for meal locations and times. That's education.ohio.gov/kidseat.
Hey, it's Anthony Rothman for Orthopedic One, Central Ohio's most trusted orthopedic practice. They helped me with my elbow pain, and I'm back on the course. Find a physician or location near you at orthopedic1.com. Orthopedic One, this is where you go to get better.
AgPro has been family owned and operated for over 64 years. We take pride in developing long-lasting relationships and offering first-class customer service. Need a new tractor, parts for your used equipment, or reliable service? AgPro has you covered. AgPro is here to serve you and your operation as your hometown dealer. Visit us today at any of our AgPro locations or go online to agproco.com to get started with your AgPro experience.
What is dippable and dunkable? And now at Donato's, it's Donato's new chicken dippers. Flavorful boneless chicken breast tenders served up with 7 amazing dipping sauce options, including new garlic parmesan and sweet chili. For a limited time, try new chicken dippers for just $5 on the $5 Pizza Pals menu. More toppings, more flavor, more fun. Donato's. Gotta love more.
As America's largest custom home builder, Schumacher Homes believes a top-quality home should be affordable for everyone in the Buckeye State. We work with the leading architects to bring you the latest in design, and then you have the ability to make changes. Not just selecting finishes, but moving walls, adding rooms, literally customizing anything from the ground up. It's a misconception that custom homes have to be expensive. We work within your budget to build an amazing home on your land. Visit SchumacherHomes.com or any of our 9 Ohio locations.
They're trained. They're prepared.
Let's do it.
They're Ohio's undefeated plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling team. And they're here to tackle your problems. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics. Common Man and Timmy.
It's the combo cracker.
You're sick.
Pretzel all the way, Timmy.
Who's talking to you, Teddy? What's the matter with him? What's going on there, Teddy? I'm doing good, Mike. Thanks.
Common Man and Timmy Afternoons on the Fan is sponsored by Hinderer Motorsports.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you're planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Save a whole lot more all summer long with hot deals on Meyer brand must-haves.
Like Meyer bottled water?
24 packs for $2.99.
How about Meyer freezer pops?
Yeah, for just $1.99.
Meyer Quencher sparkling water?
69 cents each plus deposit where applicable.
What about ingredients for s'mores?
Of course. Meyer marshmallows for $1, Meyer graham crackers for $2, and Meyer 6-pack chocolate bars for $4 all summer long.
Now that's a good deal better.
Only at Meyer. Exclusions apply. See all deals in the Meyer app.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Cosby Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Are we drinking the scarlet and gray Kool-Aid? You bet we are. You're listening to The Buckeye Show.
We'll get into some of the biggest moves in the Big Ten, some shakeups, 2 moves for Ohio State, and obviously one led to the other. And we got a new court coming over there at the Schotties. Devier Posey, I'm Matt Fontana, the Buckeye Show, taking up to 8 o'clock in NBA basketball tonight. Let's start with a new floor coming to the Schott. They've teased it. It's going to be on Friday. The new design at Value City Arena. It's going to look awesome. It's going to look great. It's exciting. The 5th time that they have changed the floor since the opening in 1998. Devier, any thoughts? Do you have any insight? Has anybody leaked anything?
Did you say Value City Arena?
Yeah, Value City Arena, the Schott. I call it the Schott. It is what it is.
Absolutely. So, yeah. I mean, the thing about this this experience of changing this is you see what Ross Bjork's immediate impact is in his first year.
That's a great point.
Yeah, just understanding fan experience and being able to understand how to make it more intimate for Buckeye fans, how to keep tradition on top of, by improving experience. Ohio State has those kind of issues and they rub against each other because we are a traditional school, but we are entering a new landscape to where technology, college football playoffs, social media will leak into traditional traditions. And so when it comes to and then also I think Ohio State has the problem of being a business, right? And being like one of the best businesses in America. And so when you look at this shot and saying this is where like all of those things start to rub heads, right? You have the business of, hey, we approach this basketball with a NBA mindset, concert mindset, but it's hard to create some type of home court advantage. So now we went with the big business model. Let's get back to a traditional fan experience. And I just love that Ross looks at things that way and he's honest and we can really evaluate these things. And when you actually ask for change or how can we get the Schott to feel like Cameron Indoor? How can we get it to feel like a game out in Kansas, right? You got to change the way that the fans interact with the game over there at basketball. So Friday, I'm going to be licking my chops, waiting for these new plans to see if we get – because here's my dream, man. Like, I want to repeat the Cameron – like, I want the student section around the whole court. That's what I would love.
No, and that's the thing. It's been obviously some tough years for Ohio State men's basketball, certainly not on the women's side, but on the men's side, it's been a little tough. And I think to your point, it's such a great point you brought up about Ross Bjork just kind of coming in and saying, hey, let's not be afraid to make change. Sometimes when people get new things, they go, well, this is status quo or that's all worked. And let's, I'm not going to say be hesitant to make those moves, but it can happen. So to come in and say, hey, we're going to shake this up, we're going to look for something fresh, I think is awesome. Speaking of being fresh and new, the Athletic ran through the top 10 changes in the Big Ten, big offseason moves. They talked about Drew Aller, they talked about Bryce Underwood, but two of the moves on here were Jim Knowles leaving Ohio State for Penn State, and then obviously Ohio State hiring Matt Patricia. And, Devier, like, you won a national championship, and I think sometimes Jim Knowles, people were questioning what was going on or, the defense that they were playing. It really always kind of came to a head sometimes maybe in the Michigan game or things like that. But nonetheless, the guy was an integral piece of winning a national championship, undeniable. Now, was his exit handled the right way? That's not my business, okay? I can sit here and tell you what I think about it, and I think it was, but that's his business there. But the hiring of Matt Patricia, I thought was amazing. I thought it was so good about just, again, not just getting the players ready to go for the NFL or the recruiting aspect to say, here's a guy that's seen it, done it, and lived it in the NFL, and if you want to try to make it there, here's a great guy to learn from. I just think even the system that he brings, he's obviously a genius. He's a rocket scientist, all that. I really liked the hire. Again, I would have loved Jim Knowles to stay. He didn't. Wish him the best of luck in every game except the Ohio State game. But I really like that hire of Matt Patricia. I do.
Yeah, just starting to just kind of marvel in terms of a GM president mindset that Mark Pantoni has done with the recruits on that side. But you got to give Ryan Day his credit in terms of just knowing his personnel for coaching and just this Rolodex of people that he has at his dispense to bring into Ohio State, because you say, hey, I'm taking a step back from calling plays, and you go and get a Belichick pedigree, a Belichick disciple, Bill O'Brien, who is an offensive guru, who to me, I play for Bill O'Brien. He hands down had the most personnel groups of any playbook that I've ever been a part of. you had a different personnel group for the same formation, but just the wide receivers switch spots with the tight ends. So, I mean, you knew what Ryan was trying to get at by bringing in a guy like Bill O'Brien, and then, hey, he darts. He said, how can we get better than that? And then you bring in Chip Kelly, who's the highest paid offensive coordinator in the NFL. Same with this Jim Knowles situation. He just backs it up with the Matt Patricia replacement. It's just blowing my mind in terms of just recruiting and hiring great staff for coordinators. You just don't know who will show up year in and year out, you know. And so we have to kind of get into this mode of it. Is Ryan Day mimicking Nick Saban more than he's mimicking Urban Meyer?
You know, that's a hard one because, like you said, Saban was just, you know, obviously you look at Kirby Smart, but even like, okay, here comes Steve Sarkisian for a season. There were some other former NFL coaches that came down there under Saban. I think Freddie Kitchens might have been there for a year or something
it was definitely a rhetorical question because I've kind of looked at this, but we haven't got to talk about it, Matt, because where Urban, I think, just missed – when you go all the way back to his Bowling Green and Utah days and even at his Florida days, he couldn't replace his staff. Yeah. And he had to restart that, and it kind of like disrupted his dynasties to where you look at Nick Saban, no matter what, no matter who, you know who's at the helm, but he had a business model to where I'm going to take a former head coach or a former college coach or a former NFL coach. I'm going to give him a quality control position. And so what happened in college football is that quality control position, the NCAA had to change it because of Nick Saban and this thing that he figured out, this loophole. It's like I can have a Mike Locksley who just choked a guy in New Mexico come and be a quality control for like $20,000. I know he has money, but at least I get Mike Locksley pushing papers and doing like recruiting. And so the NCAA put in a rule to say, hey, for these quality controls, you can't be older than like 25 or like 30 or something like that. So Nick Saban's model, I just see remnants. I see Ryan Day taking that approach with finding guys with volume of experience under him that he can trust and help restart the career. Because you know what's going to happen to Matt Patricia, right? He's going to have a great year, and he's going to go and be –
There'll be people calling left and right for him, right?
And then he'll be gone. And then Ryan will have to replace this guy again.
That's how it's a good problem to have. It is a good problem to have when people come calling. All right, we got the college football pulse. Nate's got that. We're going to jump into that in hour 2, and as well, got to get Devier's thoughts on the House settlement, how that's going to impact the NCAA. It's all coming up. Hour 2 of the Buckeyes show comes your next here on The Fan.
If the sound of another man slammed against plexiglass turns you on, you've come to the right place. Proud to be your home for Jackets hockey. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Do you suffer from leg pain, leg swelling, varicose veins, or leg ulcers? Dr. Barry Zeta and Dr. Joseph Senta at Ohio Vein and Vascular Polaris are pioneers in the vein and vascular field. Dr. Zeta and Dr. Senta can perform minimally invasive procedures that will get you back on track to a pain-free life. Stop living with leg pain and start the process to healthy living with a free healthy leg screening. Go to loveyourveins.com or call 614-426-VEIN. That's 614-426-VEIN or loveyourveins.com.
There's one medical team in Central Ohio skilled enough to care for your favorite Ohio State team, and Buckeyes everywhere. The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center is your choice for the most highly specialized orthopedic and sports medicine care. Our surgeons, physicians, and physical therapists have access to the most advanced treatments and innovative recovery approaches to get you back in your game. Because on or off the field, our team is your team. The choice for your orthopedic care is clear.
It's game day at Raising Cane's. If you want to order like a Buckeye, it's the action off the field you need to focus on. The only play you're running is chicken. So what combo are you picking? Make it a perfect season. We've got tailgates of hand-battered, cooked-to-order chicken fingers and cane sauce. And jugs of freshly made tea and lemonade. All available to order online or on our app. This season is about to be unbeatable. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers. One love. Proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Experience Buckeye game day like never before. Welcome to the 1922 Club, the most exclusive space inside Ohio Stadium, where luxury meets tradition in the heart of Buckeye Nation. Enjoy upscale food and beverages and a game day atmosphere like no other. Create lasting memories with friends and mingling with other Buckeye fans, and celebrate every OHIO in ultimate comfort. Become a member of the 1922 Club today. Memberships are limited. Visit OhioStateBuckeyes.com.
We've got a story about a little bean doing big things. Soybeans are used in creative ways you may have never realized to make products we use every day. And Ohio's farmers are growing some of the world's best soybeans. By using and eating soy-based products, you make a positive impact locally and globally. Say hey to the largest ag export in the U.S. Learn more about soybeans at soysecrets.org. This ad brought to you by Ohio soybean farmers and their checkoff.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. The Fan. Sports Center.
And I'm Nate Pooterball. Tonight, it's Game 3 of the NBA Finals. Oklahoma City heads to Indiana to take on the Pacers with the series tied at 1. Tip-off is set for 8:30. Catch all the action immediately following the Buckeye Show here on The Fan. Earlier today, the Cleveland Guardians beat up on the Cincinnati Reds to avoid a season series sweep 11-2, ending the Reds' 5-game win streak. Carlos Santana hit his 6th career Grand Slam, and Logan Allen picked up the win. The Columbus Clippers are at Buffalo tonight for the second of a 6-game series. The Dallas Mavericks are the latest team to deny the New York Knicks, blocking them from speaking with Jason Kidd for their open head coaching position. And the Colorado Avalanche's Cale Makar wins his 2nd Norris Trophy for the NHL's top defenseman. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
It's time for the College Football Pulse on the Buckeye Show.
Let's get to him. At Fontana and Devier Posey with you. We bring in Nate. He's got the pulse. Things are going on. Take it away, Nate.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, Nate.
It is 2025, and for some reason, we still can't figure out instant replay. The NCAA Rules Oversight Panel yesterday announced several changes to college basketballs to, quote, help enhance the flow of the game. The main addition is the introduction of a coach's challenge. You have to have a timeout available. You can challenge out of bounds, basket interference, goaltending. Is this a good or a bad decision?
Everybody talks about the game getting slowed down, Devier, and that's hard. I feel like this week all I've been doing is rendering services to the NCAA, but I will do it yet again. Because I feel like when I'm sitting on my couch at my house, sometimes with a Coors Light next to me, and I watch it and I go, went out of bounds, their ball. Or this is good or that is bad. Like, why do I have to sit there and go to some replay center and slow again? So just do this. NCAA, I'll give you my phone number. I will watch the games. I'll maybe have a Coors Light, and then I can just be your replay guy, because it's not that hard. It's really not that hard to just have somebody call down and say, this is the call, move the game on. I think, Devier, it's too many cooks in the kitchen. When you got the refs involved and a replay center and they're trying to get this figured out, why can't they just have the eye in the sky, somebody watching the game with the sole purpose of, if it's needed for a call, go to them and they make the call and we can all move on?
Definitely not okay with the Truman Show eye in the sky. Don't trust that guy. Don't trust it. Because I don't even know if I'm watching a show or somebody's real life. Because with the replay, my favorite replay league, like rule in a league, it's a CFL.
Yeah.
And they have a rule that you can go. Now, this isn't a challenge. This is a flag was thrown, but on any play I can tell you that you missed a flag. Like, you missed a hold on this play. It was number 76. He held number 72. You missed this. You can go back and show the ref. Now, this takes time, but when it comes to, I'm the guy in the park map. If it's 16, game point at 17, I'm calling foul.
Yeah.
I'm calling foul. I don't care who got next. So I'm going to sit there and watch the review. So I'm like, listen, man, I just can't leave it up to the eye in the sky. I don't trust the Truman Show model. I'm good. I need to see this guy watching the screen. I want to see him come to a conclusion. I kind of even want to watch the replay with him and be like, oh, yeah, he's rewatching this part 3 times because he sees what I see. Okay, now I trust this decision more. But if you go to a blank, just like the NBA lottery, you're not going to believe it, right? Like, do you believe the NBA lottery is real? No, you don't.
No. And also, by the way, how they kept Truman from, like, not being, like, the one time that he tried, and they're like, oh, here's a bad accident. There's a tree across the road. And, like, he must have never taken a vacation as a kid. Creepy movie to watch, but very interesting nonetheless. I love the reference. All right, Nate, what else you got?
All right, our friends over at Fox Sports listed the top coaches that are on the hot seat heading into the 2025 season. Their top 4: James Franklin, Brian Kelly, Lincoln Riley, and Brent Venables. Who do you agree with, and who should be on there instead?
Yeah, Venables, I never really was a big fan of that hire there. Franklin, I can't believe that until I actually see it. I think Penn State kind of enjoys the mediocrity, to be honest with you. Like, they love being able to cry and be like, oh, well, we were this close or we should have made it. I really do not think James Franklin is a good coach. I'd probably go Venables just because I think that's just too legacy of a program to not get turned around. He's had plenty of opportunity to do it. I think Lincoln Riley's fine at USC for right now. He's turned out some good prospects. They'll kind of keep it there. So I'm going to go Venables on that list, Amir.
I like that. I'm going to go with Lincoln Riley. I think he has had products, but at the
You are a wise man.
Yeah. You talk about storied programs. You go back to those days where Oklahoma was good. Right there on the other side of the country was USC in terms of their heyday with Pete Carroll and the Matt Leinart, Reggie Bush days. So this guy, Lincoln Riley, has been given a lot of things in terms of players, 5-star recruits, NIL, you have LA, like back in that time when Pete Carroll was done, just having Los Angeles itself was selling recruits. You have all this at your disposal and you still have been unseemly able to win. Lincoln Riley has had a lot of guys transfer out of USC.
And at some point, you've got to learn how to coach a defense.
Yeah. At some point, if you're a head coach, if you're a CEO, you got to know about accounts payable and accounts receivable, bro. Like, you got to know about the money you spend and the money you make, just like the points you make and the points you're supposed to stop. Lincoln, you have to stop pointing fingers and figure it out. So I'll go with Lincoln.
All right, and finally, Mac Brown was in the news recently. He spoke with David Pollack of the See Ball, Get Ball podcast and blamed NIL for his firing at UNC. Quote, before NIL, we were doing really well. We were recruiting at a high level. We were in the top 15, top 10. But with NIL, we didn't have money, and you could tell it was just a slow bleed. He then went on to complain that, because they had to have high admissions, people with money didn't want to come. Is this just sour grapes, or does he have a point?
No, I mean, it's always going to change, and it's always going to favor the high-revenue schools and the high-revenue conferences. But, like, Devier, I don't mean to sound ageist on this, and I'm not trying to rip Matt Brown. It's not like he had 15 years left. It's not like he's going to sit there and cry like they cut my career short. Mac, you're on the back 9 of your career as is. Like, and the thing about NIL, get on board or don't. And it's not. I think they could come up with some money for the basketball program there. Sorry, like, if you can't get that, you can't carve that out for the football program. What happened? Bill Belichick gets there. What'd they do, Devier? They lowered academic standards and they're giving all the NIL money he needs to get after recruits. So this is 100% sour grapes from Mac Brown, which, again, there were several years at UNC that I was like, why does he still have that job? But he kept it and just let it go. We don't need any excuse about why you're not coaching anymore. Just enjoy your retirement.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at the time that Mac Brown move made sense. I can see this coach in my mind. This is back when Greg Little was there, Marvin Austin, Robert Quinn, those days. And then you get Mac Brown coming off of the times that he had at Texas with Colt McCoy, he seemed like a good hire, and he was able to do a lot of things in terms of with the Drake May days of recruiting traditionally, right, and developing quarterbacks and using the coach, the great quarterback model. I call it the old David Cutcliffe model, where you get a great quarterback coach who potentially has the ability to be an offensive coordinator, potentially head coach, but that is out of the window, Mac. I'm sorry. This model is pay for play, and this model also includes finding people to make people's pros fast.
It also doesn't help when Marcus Freeman is making Mac Brown and Brian Kelly look really dumb on the we can't recruit with these high standards.
Yep.
Right, and they're going to get adapt or die. Either pick it up, and if you want to go down this route, fine. You want to do it this way. This is the world that we live in, and other people are figuring it out. If you want to stay relevant, which the other thing too, real quick on this too, guys, like, just say I don't want to do this anymore and then move on and retire. Why you got to cry about it now? Like, it's fine. Obviously, Nick Saban was over the NIL stuff, and he goes, I don't want to deal with this anymore. And he said, I'm just going to move on. And I found something else. But you don't hear Nick Saban, obviously much different on the levels, but like, to your point, Devier, bringing up, Mac Brown's not some scrub. No. He's not some bad, He is a legacy legend type of coach. Just sit there and say, yeah, I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with it anymore. Don't sit there and start crying about it now. Just say, listen, this is a new era. I wasn't up with the era. Didn't want to be a part of it. Had a great run. Time for me to enjoy this. Does he golf? Does he fish? Get him a hobby. Get him out of the house, it sounds like, and just enjoy the retirement, Mac. That's what you should be doing. Well, the House settlement coming in last week. Big news on just the changes coming to the NCAA. Want to talk about it on everything about what it means for Ohio State, where we kind of go from here. It's the Buckeye Show. Matt Fontana, Devier Posey with you on The Fan.
If you miss a live show, you can catch the podcast. If you miss the podcast, our hosts have volunteered to have dinner with you.
Ma, the meatloaf!
The Fan.
Joining us on this episode are real Spectrum customers, Monique and Greg. We hear your family is a big fan of Spectrum.
Family of 4, we have about 18 devices last time I counted.
2 teams require a lot of speed. Everything they do is online.
There's gaming, there's streaming. Spectrum is perfect for us. I mean, it just seamlessly connects all our devices with lightning speed.
Sounds like Spectrum is really committed to keeping you connected.
It's amazing.
It's your lucky day, because at Speedway, there's a $5,000 winner every single day. All you do is shop with Speedy Rewards. Then play the in-app game for a chance to win $5,000 in cash. So you could win $5K today, or the next day, or the next day, or the next... Okay, you get it. New daily cash winners only at Speedway. Are you next? No purchase necessary. Ends 1/6/26 USDC 16 plus. For official rules and free gameplay, go to 5k-a-day.com/rules.
Come on over to Heartland and join our family.
Now, community banking is the lifeblood of the American financial system, building strong, lasting relationships. We're just better able to help guide you down life's road. Flexibility is paramount to success. Community banking is alive and well in the Heartland. I'm Scott McComb. Come on over to Heartland, where banking really feels good.
Where banking feels good. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hi, I'm Archie Griffin, 2-time Heisman Trophy winner. The right coverage can be a game changer, both on and off the field. That's why Encova Insurance is prepared for what's next and protects what matters most to you. With independent insurance agents in your neighborhood and innovative insurance products that can be tailored to fit your unique needs, Encova Insurance is an easy win for your peace of mind. For auto, home, and business insurance, you want Encova on your team. Visit Encova.com today to find an agent near you.
The future of recycling is now at Rumpke Waste and Recycling. The recycling leader has opened North America's largest, most technologically advanced recycling center right here in Central Ohio. This one-of-a-kind facility features interactive displays, educational opportunities, and the ability to process over 60 tons of recycled material per hour. Rumpke is committed to recycling and sustainability efforts, and for more than 90 years, Rumpke has worked to make sure the items you place in your recycling bin get used again. Visit Rumpke.com to learn how you can team with Rumpke to put less trash in our landfills and more of it to good use.
Hello, I'm Ross Bjork, Senior Vice President and Eugene Smith, Wolf Foundation Endowed Athletics Director at The Ohio State University. In partnership with AEP, Donato's, Kroger, The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center, Huntington, and 10 TV, Ohio State Athletics strives to inspire the community to make a positive impact on children and families in our great state through the Buckeyes Care Initiative. Show and share your support in the community by using the hashtag BuckeyesCare.
Learn the game, meet future stars, and have a blast at the Browns Youth Football Camps. In partnership with University Hospitals, the camps kick off Monday, June 16th. Go to browns.com/youthfootballcamps25 to sign up today.
Everybody knows that Roosters is a fun, casual joint with their award-winning waitstaff, great food, fun, and laughter. It's a quick stop on the way home to sit back and unwind. It's a front row seat to the big game. Roosters is where you, your family, and friends can order pizzas, sandwiches, salads, and more. And the home of award-winning wings that are fresh, never frozen, and so big you won't believe it. It's your family's other dinner table. Roosters, a fun, casual joint, and the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
They're trained. They're prepared. Let's do it. They're Ohio's undefeated plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling team. And they're here to tackle your problems. For plumbing, drain, heating, and cooling, there's only one team. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call the Waterworks at 614-232-2222 or visit them online at thewaterworks.com. A proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Blue skies, light winds, then a real nice finish on this Wednesday. Temperatures in the low 80s. Overnight will fall back down to the low 60s with fair skies and light winds. And after a very nice start to your Thursday, warming right back up. A little warmer in the afternoon, mid to upper 80s later on Thursday and dry. With your 10 weather impact forecast, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jerry Martz on The Fan.
The best damn radio show in the land. You're listening to The Buckeye Show.
So obviously last week a monumental decision coming down about the NCAA and how they pay their players, and a lot to get to moving forward. First day of the week that we've had Devier Posey here on the Buckeye Show. I'm Matt Fontana, so we got to get his thoughts on everything that has happened. So obviously Devier, it comes down that finally what we've all been waiting for. When NIL first came up a couple of years ago, the question is why can't the teams just start revenue sharing with their players? And we now have a model to move forward with that. Starting on July 1st, teams can spend up to $20.5 million spread across however they want to at this point. Revenue share with their programs. For Ohio State, they bring the NIL in-house as they combine the two that were outsourced. They bring it on in. They bring everybody in with it to be part of it. So NIL is still a world that we live in, and the players will still be able to get those deals outside of it. But the school in Ohio State, Ross Bjork, already coming out. And by the way, catch his press conference tomorrow, 1 o'clock, Rothman and Ice with Ross Bjork tomorrow here in his press conference to talk a lot about this. But he's already said Ohio State's going to be fully funded on that $20.5, and we think a lot of it will go towards football and men's basketball and things like that. But just as a former player, just outside that threshold, unfortunately for you, going back 10 years with some of the money they're going to send back out to some players, just your thoughts overall on the ruling and where you think the NCAA goes from here?
Yeah, I think just bringing this in-house, right, and where the NCAA goes from here is, to be totally honest, is who cares where they go? Just get away. I mean, obviously, we're showing you guys the model. I think the product of the college football game, the college football playoffs this season, game for game, outside of the first round, we're really good. We enjoy seeing players have autonomy. And this is a part of it, and this is a part of the schools reeling in this NIL wild west. So it does come down to different school models, different university approaches. That being Ohio State will probably be one of the top 5 models around the country, if not the best model of how you handle this in-house distribution to different athletes, in-house distribution to different sports, and then, positions of need versus, not as expensive positions. Then also just from the business side, what does this give businesses to interact with Ohio State in a standpoint that they never had before?
Yeah.
Right. And so that's where the well of donor fatigue kind of gets drained to now I'm in business with Ohio State for marketing, and it's going towards winning national championships. How can I get in? Right? That's what businesses say now, and it's one world to where we don't even know what this looks like, Matt, but it's about to get crazy. And you might see title sponsors, like people that are in the stadium, like their names are big around the stadium, have marketing deals with guys who they never had before. Because even in the NIL era, there was still a line there of someone having a deal with the school versus them not being able to have deals with the players. So now,
I think that was one of the best things, to be honest, too. Like, I think this just, it protects the players. It helps the school. And I think there's businesses, to your exact point, Devier, I think there's businesses that would much rather go that avenue and be able to have, I don't want to say legitimacy, because it was always legit, but it's just easier to say I'm going through the school. And then I think about the spawn off of they show up at Ohio State. Hey, I want to be able to get involved here. What can I do? It's like, okay, well, we can talk to you about, this football player or this basketball player, but can we talk to you about this tennis player? And can we bring up this golfer? And what about this track and field athlete that we'd like to be able to get involved with this whole thing as well? I do think it's a win-win across the board, which is great. And here's the thing. This money, the players deserve some. The schools deserve some. And now it's just an easier path for that all to happen. And it's just going to be as equal as it can be. Now, how that gets divided up remains to be seen. But you have scholarship increases across a lot of sports. Ohio State is committed to keeping their 36 varsity athletics right now, which is great news. I think it's all good. Now, it's interesting that the update that we kind of wanted to get to here was that Charlie Baker, he's the NCAA president, and he spoke at a keynote address yesterday about the settlement. And he basically said to Veer, I'm paraphrasing, if we didn't do this, we're going to go bankrupt. And he said, this is a far better future, one that comes with choices instead of bankruptcy. Now, they could have taken this to court because this is a settlement, basically between the NCAA and conferences and lawyers representing the players. They take it to court. There were figures that they could have been on the hook for $20 billion instead of the $2 that they have to pay back in a restitution for former athletes. So, I'm not a businessman, Devier, but I don't know too many businesses that could survive a $20 billion lawsuit loss. So I would imagine bankruptcy would come with that. So I'm not saying, the NCAA kind of had their hands tied, but also I think this was the inevitable future one way or another. Let's just get it going now. It ends all three separate antitrust lawsuits, and we can just kind of move forward from here. I think it's the best outcome for everyone.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, and it will be an adjustment. It will be weird to see all of these entities who are on separate sides of the city, separate sides of business models, kind of work together. But I do think it makes us more powerful. It's just kind of scary that all of Ohio State's business networking connections will be working together to help our football team win games and help other sports win games. It's pretty scary, man, what we'll be able to do, right? We're headed in the right direction business-wise at Ohio State for sports.
Yeah, and the thing is, it was always going to be the future. There's going to be learning and, frankly, mistakes and things that need to get fixed. And, Austin and I were talking about this a little yesterday, Devier. It's that, I had an engineer tell me this a long time ago. He's teaching me how to fix things at a radio station. And he goes, Matt, there's some things I can't teach you until it breaks. He goes, I can't show you how to do something or fix something until it actually breaks. I think that a lot with this settlement, where they have the best intentions. They have laid out what they think is the best plan moving forward. But in reality, there's going to still be hurdles and things. And frankly, I already saw today that there's already lawsuits getting ready to go and to be filed and for people to keep going after this, because it's just kind of a never-ending loophole. And you're going to fall into it. You're going to make these changes. I'm glad that the players are finally getting some money across all sports. And male and female athletes, Title IX is still very important in all this too. And to try to get as much of this rolling. It's a billions and billions of dollar industry now. And it was time now for them to start getting a piece of it, of the athletes that you're making this off of. Certainly football is number one in prime and up there, but I think it goes across all sports, and it's going to help everybody out as well. Well, I can't wait to talk to Devier about this because, as we know, there's a legend that's going to be ending things of where it all began coming up this fall. And I got some questions from Devier if he ever talked to that legend or if it was ever brought up that College Game Day was at their game. We'll discuss that next. It's the Buckeye Show, back in 2 minutes.
You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But with an unpredictable economy and the future feeling uncertain, you're wondering if that equity will still be there when you're ready. What if you could bank that equity right now? With Truehold, you can sell your home for its current value, so you can access your equity today. You can bank the cash now and stay in the home you love with an easy standard lease. Truehold even covers property taxes, insurance, and repairs. And since Truehold hands over your equity in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you'd like. Don't let a shifting economy put your hard-earned equity at risk. Visit Truehold.com and receive their competitive offer on your home in just 48 hours, based on its current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. That's Truehold.com.
Go behind the scenes of one of the most recognizable landmarks in all of college athletics with a tour of Ohio Stadium presented by Experience Columbus. A seasoned redcoat will be your guide as you make your way through walls of the stadium, into the press box, and onto the field. Upgrade to the VIP package and get special access to the band center and the Ohio State home locker room. From corporate outings and school groups to single-person tours and small families, Ohio Stadium Tours offer a variety of options and pricing. For more information, visit ohiostatebuckeyes.com and book your tour. Ohio Stadium Tours, presented by Experience Columbus.
Health insurance companies are expected to carry health benefits, but CareSource does so much more. We look beyond doctors' offices and hospitals to see the challenges that face our members. Then we help them achieve not just better health, but better lives. Along with great benefits, we also help our members find stable jobs, housing, childcare, and rides so they can find greater independence. At CareSource, we're removing barriers, we're improving lives, we're reimagining healthcare.
The Buckeye Show is sponsored by CareSource, proud to be your home for Ohio State athletics. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
If you still have a weird rash from jumping in Mirror Lake, we can be friends. This is the Buckeye Show.
Wrapping it up with a legend this fall, so only proper that Lee Corso is coming back to Columbus. He'll be there for the Texas-Ohio State game, as he all did. It started years ago with the tradition of putting on the mascot head. It all started here. It's going to end here. Devier Posey, Matt Fontana, it's the Buckeye Show with you here tonight. Devier, there's no way he's picking the Longhorns, right? Like, how are you going to come back where you started by putting Brutus on, and you're not going to put him on one last time? We all know the game's not for another couple of months, but he's got to be picking the Buckeyes.
Oh, man. Yeah, this is one of those things where this could be a good last game for Lee, and I just hope, you put on that Brutus one more time. Right, you got an opportunity here. Who do you want to be the last big game? One of the last big game helmets you put on, mascot heads, and I just think Brutus is fitting, man. I just believe it's fitting.
I got to ask you, though, as a player, did you ever have a chance to meet, like, Lee Corso? And was it something that was brought up to you guys? Like, did you just know? Did, you ever have coaches talk about it or bring it up? Or just as players, you knew, you felt the vibe there of having, you guys were the game? It's different in college football, different than, I guess, well, not the NFL. They have a lot of different games going on, but it's not so much like there's Sunday and Monday and Thursday night football where you're the only game on. There's other games on, but when you guys are the game at noon or you're the night game, everybody's got to be watching. That's got to be such a cool feeling as a player.
Yeah, man. I mean, a primetime spot, more importantly for me, was all about, hey, how can I over-prepare to make sure that this performance is what it's supposed to be? And then when you just have that extra time throughout the day, yeah, you can kind of let it drag and in anticipation and anxiety, or you can just over-prepare. And for me, that's sort of like how my anxiety channeled out, was the over preparing. And at that time, obviously, I didn't know what I was doing, but I would just be watching more film, watching more, going over notes and re-looking at things that I wrote down throughout the week, little small things, so you can go out there and play fast. And so when you're in these situations, especially college game day situations, you see it, you understand it, but as soon as you step outside of this hotel room, I got 1,000 things I'm thinking about in terms of performance, in terms of that, like, just as a player, you don't really get into the fanfare. And I think that's really part of the reason why I enjoy my pregame shows now during the fall, right? And going to games now as a fan is because, I'll be honest, man, I'll be on that school session and I probably didn't catch eye contact with one human.
Bro.
Right. Like, yeah, just like that type of level of focus.
Yeah,
so it's just you don't really get to, and you have to be that way because it's so grand, it's so great here at Ohio State, and there is so much going on. There are so many people that know you and are cheering for you that if you are anything but that for a big game, you probably see performance lack a little bit there on those days.
Yeah, and it's deserved, like you said, they're showing up for you. You want to put on for them and do the best that you can for how it goes. And for Fox and certainly ESPN with their big games and this, certainly CBS, NBC, all of it. But there's just something that comes back to like college game day. And I know that the big noon kickoff was so many people that they talk about that and, okay, this game here or this game there. I think it was so interesting, the dynamic that they have now created where they go, we don't care if the game's not on our network. We know it's the biggest game and we need to be there. And it is, I don't want to say awkward, but it's, you show up and it's, Devier, I'm always going to lean college game day. Like, I'm always going to, I know the game's going to be on Fox and we're going to flip over and watch it there, but like, there's something about the legacy, that lineup that they have up there. And I mean, Fox's is great too, but like that lineup that is up there, there's just something about waking up and watching that and knowing that you just got a full slate of college football just to binge on out for the day and enjoy every minute of it. It's just so different when you started off with something like college game day. It's the best, let alone, again, for the fans that are there, for the ones that I know that show up at 4:30 in the morning to try to get an early spot on the rail so their sign can get up there. Nate throws his hand up. We've all been there before, trying to get there early over there so you can get your spot. Like, that's what makes college football so great, and it's so awesome. And I'm gonna miss, Lee not being a part of it, and I think it's going to end with him, as it should, with the tradition. I think he should do it one more time. It's going to be here. It's going to be great how it's going to end. I don't want to see anybody else do it. You're only going to not live up to expectations. Just kind of send that off with Lee off into retirement and come up with something else. I don't know what it is, but you got to come up with something else.
Man, yeah. I do think the college game day product has declined a bit throughout the years.
Yeah.
And other products have taken another model to where I am a big fan of Big Noon. I do like saying, hey, there are Big Noon games that are huge games, and they need to be nationally televised too as well. I think back in the day, what would happen, you would lose out on those Michael Crabtree, Des Bryant battles that happened at 12 because it was getting pushed because Colt McCoy was playing against Ndamukong Suh. So, yes, I understand, and I'll give that its grace and its glory, but the college Big Noon product, to me, is a very good product just because I love the former players that they have with Brady and Mark Ingram. It was formerly Reggie Bush, and then you throw Herb in there, and then you just got Matt Leinart in there. Those guys were from my time in terms of, watching college football. And then just the Joel Klatt, Gus Johnson pairing to me is, I enjoy listening to those two a little bit more than I do Herb Streak and Fowler. And I know, and here's my only thing. I just think Fowler gets a little play-by-play, he gets a little colory to me. He gets to talking about, bro, that's Kurt's job. Hold on, Chris. You know what I mean? So it's just
right.
And so I look at it from that media standpoint. I think we're okay with what we have in place. I'm okay with Lee Corso in college football and it going to rest and it being not what it was and holding that era down. But I won't miss it too much. I'm okay with moving forward.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's always going to change. It's funny you bring that up because, like, I'm notorious of, like, I loved Gus Johnson, and now something happened. I don't know what it was. I think he started, like, buying into his own stuff or something. It's almost like Gus Johnson is doing a caricature of Gus Johnson now, and I don't like it. There's something about it. I don't know. And maybe the Michigan thing is bleeding in more. I'm paying more attention to it. I can't tell. I don't know.
You're realizing he's from Detroit.
Yeah, right. That's something. I respect it. I do, but there's something that flipped there with Gus Johnson. But it is, a bigger conversation, too, about how college football is going to be navigating moving forward with all the conference change. Not even so much about the settlement that came down from there, but, like, we have just had so many massive changes on a conference front, on new media deals, on new TV deals. It's going to be so, like, I grew up, the SEC was on CBS, and that's how it went, and that's how it always was, right? Like, you knew that those games were on there. You knew the Big Ten was always going to be on Fox. Like, those deals kind of shifting, and, we'll all find it in one way or another and all these different streaming services and all that. But it's interesting how as these conference changes keep going, and if I have a vibe of where I think college football is going, it's eventually just going to be almost that cream of the crop. And every week we're going to want and have a thirst for an Ohio State-Texas type of game every single week, and you're not going to get it. But eventually, with the expansion in the playoffs, what is the harm of doing a Big Ten SEC crossover in the beginning of the season? Because even if you lose 2, and dare I even say 3 games, depending on who those 3 were, you still might have a look at this college football playoff. And you still might have a chance to make a 16-team playoff. Like, all this stuff just gets my mind spinning, which is going to be so hard for the administrators and the people in the NCAA to figure it out. And I hope they do it right, and I hope they take it serious. Because I think, Devier, so many spinning plates in this whole thing, and the media and just how it's going to all play out is just one part of it.
Yeah, man. Like, hey, I got my popcorn. Nate, we're going to be watching. Going to be watching with this new landscape for sure.
And it's almost to the point where you could just, like, make the super league that some people think the Big Ten and the SEC can just go off and do. You get a media partner for that, and you set up the right games, and we'll watch it a lot like the NFL, where you're going to watch every Saturday these marquee games. Every game's going to kind of matter. The college football playoff, they end up leaving that, creating their own thing. It could go a lot of different directions. It really could. And that's where how ESPN, how CBS, NBC, and then, again, you start sprinkling in Netflix, and you want to get Amazon Prime involved and all that. And eventually it comes back to what? You, me, and us, and all of us out there paying our cable bill or paying for this streaming service or paying for this subscription to be able just to watch all the sports that we want to do. It's not a cheap venture anymore, man. I'm sitting here, my wife and I, we cut the cable. I'm like, honey, it's got to come back in August. I was like, sorry, it's got to come back. It'll be back August through February, because that's just how it's going to have to go with that, just because you got to be able to catch everything you can. Too many, man. Too many things.
I'm with you on that.
We'll get to it. All right, coming up, hashtag Buckeyes coming at you next. It's the Buckeye Show right here on The Fan.
We're the highest rated sports radio station in America. There's no joke there. We just are. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
I think I just wrote the song of the summer. Listen.
That's just you drinking a big gulp from Speedway.
And just 89 cents for any size with Speedy Rewards? That's a hit. The convenience stores of Speedway. Valid through 6/24/25. See app for full terms.
Hey, look, it's Bob Capace from Worthington Jewelers. Say hi, Bob.
Hi, Bob.
You know what I love the most about your store?
What's that, Common Man?
The way you treat people. You get to know your customers. That's why they keep coming back. No sleazeballs around. Just good, clean boys and girls selling jewelry.
Stop in and see the difference for yourself.
Worthington Jewelers on High Street in Worthington. WorthingtonJewelers.com. It's where Columbus gets engaged. Tell them Common Man sent you.
With over 33 years in business, Newman Roofing believes white glove services shouldn't be a thing of the past. From the first call, you'll be greeted with friendly professionals to answer all your questions. Special financing options available now, so call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF or visit newmanroofing.com.
Hello, I'm Ross Bjork, Senior Vice President and Eugene Smith Wolf Foundation Endowed Athletics Director at The Ohio State University. In partnership with AEP, Donato's, Kroger, The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center, Huntington, and 10 TV, Ohio State Athletics strives to inspire the community to make a positive impact on children and families in our great state through the Buckeyes Care Initiative. Show and share your support in the community by using the hashtag BuckeyesCare.
The future of recycling is now at Rumpke Waste and Recycling. The recycling leader has opened North America's largest, most technologically advanced recycling center right here in Central Ohio. This one-of-a-kind facility features interactive displays, educational opportunities, and the ability to process over 60 tons of recycled material per hour. Rumpke is committed to recycling and sustainability efforts, and for more than 90 years, Rumpke has worked to make sure the items you place in your recycling bin get used again. Visit Rumpke.com to learn how you can team with Rumpke to put less trash in our landfills and more of it to good use.
For over 30 years, Schumacher Homes has been building affordable custom homes throughout the Buckeye State. Experience true customization on your land, your way, without any compromises. Come visit any of our 9 Ohio model home and design studio locations to see the latest in design trends and learn about our award-winning building process, or start online at SchumacherHomes.com. You'll be surprised how affordable a custom home will be. Schumacher Homes, proud home building sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
Hey, Ohio State fan, are you ready for game day? Get hyped and get your crew going with the Buckeye Meal at BK. For $20, you'll get 1 juicy flame grilled Whopper sandwich, 1 original chicken sandwich, 2 mouthwatering cheeseburgers, 3 crispy golden small fries, and 3 refreshing small drinks. Grab your $20 Buckeye Meal today and share the taste of victory. At BK, have it your way. You rule. Limited time only at participating Ohio area restaurants. Tax extra. BK is a proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
We at The Fan have created a show where you can be a homer, a hater, or whatever you want to be. Your family may not listen to you, but we will. Sundays at 11, it's The Fan Call-In Show presented by ESPN Bet at Hollywood Casino Columbus. You're welcome.
After I drop the kids off, I have to run across town for a meeting, hit the gym during lunch. Jake has soccer tonight, and Emily has gymnastics? Oh, did I turn on the crock pot this morning?
With a never-ending to-do list, it's easy to forget something important, like setting up a life insurance plan with Shelter Insurance. Your local Shelter agent can show you how to create a safety net for your family. Don't let life get in the way of what's most important. Visit shelterinsurance.com to learn more. Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
Did you want information on the Ohio Lottery's Easy Play games? Okay. Easy Play games have everything needed to play printed on the ticket, so you never wait for a drawing. And with Easy Play progressive games, they can instantly win the game's jackpot, which oftentimes grow and grow to over $1 million. All lottery players are subject to Ohio laws and commission regulations. Play responsibly. Want another commercial? Okay.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Social media can be a cesspool. Allow us to navigate the waters. Hashtag Buckeyes.
Sponsored by The Waterworks. Call the plumbing, heating, and cooling technicians at The Waterworks and header today. Call 614-232-2222. Proud sponsor of Ohio State Athletics.
It is the Buckeye Show with hashtag Buckeyes. And, of course, show brought to you by our great friends at Coors Light. Devier Posey, Matt Fontana with you. And we'll be joining NBA tonight. 8 o'clock, we will have the NBA Game 3. We're in Indiana for the NBA Finals, which would be a lot of fun. And a little plug, if you guys don't mind, I will actually be on ESPN National after the show as well. So you get a double dose of me today here on 97 The One. So we'll be enjoying all the post-game festivities on ESPN after, but we'll join that coming up at 8 o'clock. All right, we dive in. Hashtag Buckeyes on social media. The first thing, Devier, I wanted to bring up was there's quite a few updates and just recaps of the camps going on. So I wanted to ask you, did you go to any camps at Ohio State when you were going through that recruiting process?
Yep. I went up there. I came up. I was already committed. I think it was more about a, just like a checklist thing. But
sure.
We had some fun. There were a few people out there trying to get offers, and it's a really big deal. I mean, those camps they could change your life. So you got to go and perform. So I do remember my Ohio State camping days.
What was the biggest thing? Like, was it just being able to go up against some different competition? Was it the coaches kind of seeing how you practice? Like, obviously going through recruiting, they talk to your coaches, they watch your game film, they'll come to your games, but I can imagine it can be a little different to see how a guy practices or what they're like kind of on the practice field. Or was it, we hear quite a few times about players, and I was talking about this with Austin Ward a little bit, about how a coach will say, hey, we like to do it this way, or this technique, or how you run this route. This is what we like here. Now, if you're going back to high school, listen to your coaches there and do that, but this is kind of instilling what we like to do here. Was that all stuff that even back then Tress was doing?
Yeah, I think more importantly, like, right, when you're going to buy a new car, you're going to test drive that car. And I think for coaches, from their standpoint, to see a player – let me throw something at him. Let me throw some terminology. Let me see if I can change a technique. Let me see if I can press a button. Let's see how the most important part of those games is let's see how coachable you are. And can you be coached? Can you adjust? And when you see guys, you see talented players that already have offers that you already want in the building, and you get to coach them, and you see, hey, how about you try this step on this play, and then you put your hand here. And then the next rep, you see a guy do it. Yeah, I really need this guy. So it's a good experience. But I had a hashtag Buckeye too. So please. I have Buckeye Ballers. About an hour ago, it says 2026 NBA All-Star Weekend 3-point shootout. Let's start it now. Jamison Battle, start the campaign. Then it goes to a quote from a vet, Gary Temple. It said he's a guy that's going to be in the league for 10 to 15 years just because he's an elite NBA skill in shooting the basketball. Really got to go back, in your bag as a Buckeye hoop fan and say if you can remember Jamison Battle from recent years, because he was only here for a little bit, but just as a Buckeye and the type of player and impact that he had here in his 1 year and Holtman's last season, he's a player, man, and he was a good player at Minnesota, and for him to develop into a pro, I can see that happening just because of like the type of piece he was for us that year.
Yeah, and it's funny because it was just the 1 year. He came from Minnesota, I want to say.
Yep, it was Minnesota.
Yeah, as he came in there. And it's funny that you bring up some Ohio State players that are in the NBA, because there was a game that, Malachi Branham was playing for the Spurs. Like, he's starting to carve out, some minutes from them. And it's like, of course, watching Mike Conley make it all the way to the Western Conference Finals and was pulling him from trying to pull for him to get on through. And that's the thing. Ohio State, it's been, kind of tough where, like, so I pulled this up real quick as we get ready for this. Jamison Battle, of course, played the 1 year at Ohio State, but currently, at least for this past season, he was one of 8 Ohio State alumni to be in the NBA. As I mentioned, Malachi Branham, E.J. Liddell from 2022, Micah Potter from 2021, Bryce Sensabaugh of 2023, Jay Sean Tate of 2018, D'Angelo Russell 2015, and then Mike Conley of 07. So it's like to add that where you kind of see like where those gaps were at. And right. You've had some guys recently do it, but there were just some of the guys that should have been like, again, Jay Sean Tate at 18, but like 18 and 19 and 21 and just some more of those guys kind of there that would still be in the NBA. And that's the hope certainly for Jake Diebler and crew is to kind of get back there. And they've gotten, some big recruits. We've been talking about that with Tyler Hero's brother and the young man coming over from overseas, France, like all of that. Certainly, I hope Ohio State can turn. But, like, dude, yeah, if we want to get Jamison Battle in there for All-Star Weekend, I'm ready to start that push if you are.
I'm with you on that, absolutely.
We're on it. Another big thing on hashtag Buckeyes, a lot of people reacting to something we did talk about earlier with the big recruiting news coming out that Kahari Wilder, 4-star recruit, is coming to the Buckeyes in the class of 2026 next year. And, you think about it, we discussed him as he's an edge right now at 6'4", 260, but the potential of him kind of sliding inside. And we think about as the recruiting has gone on for Ohio State, and I see them making news for the 2026 class already and beyond. It's just that continuation of bringing players in that, they always say we don't rebuild, we just kind of reload. But I just think the transfer portal is how different things could be, where it's like you're excited for Wilder, but we talked about Bo Atkinson, who's coming in as a transfer for the Buckeyes. It's, if you like the recruiting trail, transfer portal is a great thing for you because you get to enjoy the regular side of recruiting, and then you still get this whole other version of it, a whole different season, if you will, of being able to get guys through the transfer portal as well.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm so excited for that. But I wanted to mention, like while you were doing it, I was doing my research. I was kind of listening. To be honest, I wasn't even listening to respond because I wanted to make sure we snuck this in.
Please.
We're talking about a guy, Jameer Brown, who won a state championship in the 100-meter dash in Ohio at Jesse Owens with a 10.3. This man has like probably the most speed from a guy since Ted Ginn or Chris Olave, but he has that type of ability. And I'll be honest, Matt, I want to see the ball in the guy's hand who runs a 10.36 and is a state champion. We haven't had a fast guy like this in a very long time at the wide receiver position. And it's exciting to see a football player win a state championship and for him to be a Buckeye. Like you said, we haven't seen it since those gaps like we saw you were talking about on the basketball side.
Right. Yeah. No, and he's definitely different. Unfortunately, we're going to have to wait a little bit just because it's the class of 2027. But
yes.
He is, coming out of 24/7. He's the number one player in Ohio, the number one wide receiver as well, and anywhere from 8 to 5 nationally at this point for the class of 2027. And it's, obviously coming out of Dayton and Wayne, here we go, Ohio State wide receiver in state being that. I mean, it's just, I think there's got to be something there that obviously you can speak on here about even just the legacy and being able to say, if I'm that guy, and I am the number one receiver and I'm here in this state, to continue the legacy that has been built on over a long time, but even more just recently of not just, hey, getting to the NFL, which I understand when you're that skilled and when you're a guy even like Jeremiah Smith, that's on your mind certainly, but you're not going to get there without the good coaching. You're not going to get out. You're not going to get there without playing in the right system in college and being able to learn and grow. And Ohio State just provides everything for that. But I just think there's so much to be said about that legacy of trying to continue that as I'm that good at receiver, and I'm going to go continue to make it that good at Ohio State when it comes to wide receivers.
No, absolutely. I mean, you want to take that on. And even just like the legacy of just wide receivers who are track guys, Ohio State guys. For me, I took that seriously because I know Ted Ginn was one. And Devin Smith was a guy like that. And then before that, it was the Joey Galloways. And then it was the Terry Glenns, guys who ran track that were from Ohio that played wide receiver. It was almost like a rite of passage thing for me before we started getting these national 5-stars. But for guys in Ohio that play wide receivers, like you had to end up on that state stand for track in an event to be kind of considered for an Ohio State position just at that time. So it's good to kind of see, a hint of the past and some throwback there with Jameer Brown and carrying on that legacy even from a deeper level too.
Well, and you bring up a good point where that model of Ohio State receivers has not kind of been – he's 5'11". I'm not saying he's short, but it's like it's been Marvin Harrison, who's just massive. Chris Olave's over 6 feet tall. Jackson Smith-Njigba was a little bit smaller, but I think he's still 6 feet. You look at Jeremiah Smith, you've had these kind of bigger body type of guys coming through there where, like you said, Jameer Brown is really kind of that throwback to a guy like Ted Ginn and just the speed and the burner, which will be a little bit different for Ohio State. And that's the thing. It's just I love it, Devier, that they can get guys to keep, stay in the state. And that's always been the biggest thing for me, and I think it should be the biggest thing is keeping guys in the state. And again, it's not that they can't go to Texas, not that they're going to go to Florida and things like that. But obviously, for you were in Cincinnati and LaSalle, and for you to stay in the state and play at Ohio State, I think that's the era that I grew up in with Jim Tressel and crew, and that's the era that I think Ohio State is in their best, or at least I think that's the version of Ohio State that is the best when the best in-state kids are going to Ohio State.
Absolutely, build a picket fence around Ohio and keep the talent in.
Yeah, and that's going to be the thing, and I know Ryan Day takes that very serious in the recruiting. Right now, that's, even just talking about Jameer Brown, but we talk about Wilder, we talk about even the guys that are now here, Devin Sanchez, we talked about Tavian Sinclair. you're always going to have your Georgias, your Alabamas, your other powerhouses. But I just think when Ohio State sits down with you and they're going to sit there and they're going to talk to you, they have got to be top of the list, whether or not you're from this state or not. And outside of you just being born and raised in Michigan and just being a lifelong Wolverines fan, like Ohio State's going to have a seat at the table. I mean, they're going to get everybody. But it's going to be a good conversation for all the recruits that be had for sure. Great conversation today, Devier. Appreciate you coming in, Nate. Great work. Don't go anywhere. We've got NBA Finals action coming your way here on The Fan.
Catch T-Bone and Tyvus weekday mornings from 6 to 9. If you're not completely satisfied, we'll rewind time and erase your brain. For real, The Fan.
Are you ready for the ultimate entertainment experience? It's all here, only with Spectrum TV Select. Popular apps are included: Disney Plus, Max, Peacock Premium, Paramount Plus, AMC Plus, and more. And live TV for sports, entertainment, and news. Enjoy across your devices no matter when or where you are. Get Spectrum TV Select and start streaming your favorites today. It's all here. Visit spectrum.com/entertainment. Restrictions apply.
At Kroger, we've lowered prices on over 1,000 items across our stores so you can save even more. Whether you're shopping in-store or online at Kroger, we've lowered prices on thousands of the items your family wants and needs. And with lower prices, your dollar goes further every time you shop with us. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Save big on eggs. Right now, 18-count cartons of large grade A Kroger brand eggs are just $3.49 each with your digital coupon. Kroger, fresh for everyone.
Soy has been keeping secrets, and it's ready to share. Soybeans are among the most versatile agricultural products. They are used in creative ways you may have never realized to make products we all love and use every day. Ohio is leading the way, developing new uses for soybeans to support our changing world. Soy low-key slays, and I'm here for it. Learn more about soybeans at soysecrets.org. This ad brought to you by Ohio soybean farmers and their checkoff.
Attention Columbus. Town Properties just clinched the title of the largest residential property manager in Columbus, thanks to the Columbus Business Journal. With pride, we oversee 25,000 plus households in the Columbus metro area, ensuring fantastic places to call home. Whether you're on the hunt for an exceptional living space, a top-notch association management company, or a property manager for your multifamily portfolio, visit our website at town-properties.com and let us elevate your living experience. Town Properties, always managing great places to live.
Come on over to Heartland and join our family.
Now, community banking is the lifeblood of the American financial system, building strong, lasting relationships. We're just better able to help guide you down life's road. Flexibility is paramount to success. Community banking is alive and well in the Heartland. I'm Scott McComb. Come on over to Heartland, where banking really feels good.
Where banking feels good.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
AgPro has been family-owned and operated for over 64 years. We take pride in developing long-lasting relationships and offering first-class customer service. Need a new tractor, parts for your used equipment, or reliable service? AgPro has you covered. AgPro is here to serve you and your operation as your hometown dealer. Visit us today at any of our AgPro locations or go online to agproco.com to get started with your AgPro experience.